मुझको इस बात का एहसास है कि मैं कैसे बना एक्टर हूँ। मैंने जब वो 27 दिन रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म पे गुजारे हैं, तो मेरे को कभी बोलने का मेरे में हिम्मत ही नहीं होगी बोलने की कि मैं बोर्ड हो गया हूँ या मैं थक गया हूँ या मैं ये सब कर गया हूँ। इट इज़ Satish's most passionate project. He invested a lot of time and energy into the project, and he was very, very passionate about the theme and the story of the film. And I hope that it does very well. He will be happy wherever he is.
I remember when I decided to take a break from TV, one of the last interviews, somebody asked me that, so if you're taking a break from TV, what do you think? You know, you're going to completely go out and rule it. I said, no, I still remember that line. I said, the real test begins now.
I think जो भी फिल्में मैंने की, चाहे वो दिल है कि मानता नहीं है, या दिल वाले, या कुछ कुछ होता है, या ऑल द डेविड धवन फिल्म्स और सुभाष घई जीज फिल्म्स, राम लखन, आई थिंक ये सब आज बन सकती हैं। और गदर 2 की सक्सेस ने इस बात का एहसास करा दिया है कि नॉस्टैल्जिया प्लेज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल। अपार्ट द फिल्म हैज़ टू बी गुड ऑफ कोर्स। जैसे आज अगर राम लखन बनती है तो इट विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। आई कैन स्टिल बी पार्ट ऑफ इट बिकॉज वो ट्रैक अभी भी चल सकता है। अनिल और जैकी को शायद उनके बेटे बनेंगे बट मेरा कैरेक्टर देवधर काका का मैं ही कर सकूंगा। I was already changed for 32 years. I've been wanting to tell the story, being a Kashmiri Pandit myself. I'm glad that it reached out to so many people. I'm glad that commercially it did so well, because that means people understood and empathized with the film.
I think career-wise or career-wise, it wasn't a very wise decision to play that part. If somebody had to decide their career from an acting perspective or from a career point of view, it wasn't a great career path-breaking thing.
Hello everyone, I'm Rashita Sahni from Bollywood Bubble, and today joining me for a super special conversation are two immensely talented actors who come from different worlds, but one thing that's very common between them is their love and passion for their craft. Welcoming Anupam Kher and Mohit Raina, who are all set to impress all of us with the Freelancer. Hello, कैसे हैं आप दोनों?
बहुत अच्छे हैं, आप कैसी हैं?
मैं भी बहुत अच्छी हूँ. इनफैक्ट व्हेन आई वाज वाचिंग द ट्रेलर, कॉन्स्टेंटली एक चीज़ मेरे दिमाग में चल रही थी दैट दिस इज़ वेरी थ्रिलिंग, एंड अगर आप इसको एक बार देखने बैठेंगे तो शायद ही आप ब्रेक ले पाएंगे. इट्स वन ऑफ दोज काइंड ऑफ शोज़. When it was offered to the both of you, what was that one thing that was so intriguing कि आपने बोला कि ये तो करना ही है?
जो आपने बोला वही है मेरे ख्याल से कि इट्स वेरी थ्रिलिंग, और दूसरा नीरज पांडे बना रहे हैं, इसमें सब कुछ है। और ये भी इनकी बातों से मुझे एहसास हुआ था जब हम पहले इंटरव्यूज़ कर रहे थे कि ये पहला ऐसा सीरीज़ है जिसमें से यहाँ से एक जाता है एजेंट और वो किसी को लेकर आना होता है. सो दैट वे इट्स वेरी एक्साइटिंग. और इसका जो कैनवस है बहुत बड़ा है, इसका जो बैकग्राउंड है बहुत अच्छी है, एंड देन इट हैज़ ऑल द राइट काइंड ऑफ पीपल वर्किंग इन इट.
Mohit?
Well, for me, it started only with Mr. Neeraj Pandey, because Neeraj sir, when his team approached me and he said Neeraj sir wants to meet you, and Neeraj sir ने कहा कि there's a book called Ticket to Syria by Shirish Thorat, and I plan to adapt it. Would you be would you be a part of this series? And I was like, yes sir. आप बताइए when and where do I have to come? Yeah. Because to be really honest, when a maker like Neeraj Pandey approaches you, you don't say anything. You just quietly do your job and reach on time wherever they want to. But obviously, then I read the book. I was fascinated with the world. I've always been a fan of these spy thrillers and race against time genres, extraction movies that we have seen while growing up. Be it Born Ultimatum, be it Argo, be it Munich, be it Die Hard, be it Taken, or anything. All of us have grown watching those brilliant films. And obviously, when it comes to Bollywood, Neeraj Pandey sir has been a king in that. He doesn't really like to give his audience a time to breathe, or he doesn't want his audience to leave. And his pace is such in all the films that if you see, he keeps them hooked all the time.
Absolutely.
And with the digital revolution, post that in Special Ops, we all witnessed what they did together, Disney Plus Hotstar and Neeraj sir. So I think they're going to repeat the magic again on the Freelancer. It's grand, it's big, it's one of the, it's kind human extraction series जैसे अनुपम सर ने बताया. So I think all these factors were, they didn't leave any choice for me to think twice.
Amazing. But when the two of you are working together, was there any commonality in the sense of sensibilities of acting? Because आप दोनों different generations of acting से आते हैं. आप कितने सालों से काम कर रहे हैं? I'm sure you have been a fan of his work like all of us.
Obviously.
And Mohit represents, you know, the talent of today very, very, I think proudly. We have all seen his work also. So set पे कैसा था? Were there any exchange of advices?
आई थिंक एक्टिंग की कोई एज नहीं होती है. एक्टिंग का कोई मतलब पढ़े लिखे एक्टर्स का, जो पढ़े लिखे, व्हेन आई से दैट पीपल हु अंडरस्टैंड एक्टिंग, नॉट नेसेसरली दे हैव गॉन टू द ट्रेनिंग स्कूल. आपकी खुद की जिज्ञासा क्या है, आपकी खुद की क्यूरोसिटी क्या है एक्टिंग को लेकर. तो आई रिस्पेक्ट हिज क्राफ्ट एंड आई एम श्योर ही रिस्पेक्ट्स माई क्राफ्ट. एट द एंड ऑफ इट वी आर पार्ट ऑफ अ स्टोरी एंड आई हैव टू डू माई रोल द वे आई थिंक about it and the director's direction, and he's doing his role. And then there is a scene. I try and sort of make the scene from my point of view and for my benefit, because I have been working for such a long time, as difficult as I can. Because when I make it difficult to do it, then I can approach it in a different manner. At the same time, I'm looking at him and rehearsing with him, and I'm seeing that, okay, he's approaching it like this, so if I can imbibe something from him. Because at the end of it, it's a give and take. मैं अपनी एक्टिंग लेके बैठ जाऊँ और मैं सोचूं कि बस मैं ही हूँ, तो फिर कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. क्लीन स्लेट के साथ जाता हूँ मैं. आई गो विद अ कंप्लीट क्लीन स्लेट ऑन द सेट, and then whatever you jot down on it, it's registered. And it's a joy to work with people who are younger to you, who have a different approach and who understand acting. It's a learning experience for me.
I'm sure. Mohit, for you?
Well, I'm not a trained actor. I am not like professionally trained. I have learned on the craft while
Correct.
working. And obviously, when you have a trained actor in front of you, and who has such immense experience, so you just keep quiet, and genuinely I'm saying, just make sure that you don't fumble or you don't forget your lines. So when I worked with Sir for the first time on day one, my only motive was to remember lines and not kind of forget them. So, but yes, obviously Sir comes with a lot of experience, you know, he makes you feel comfortable and he has no airs about it. So I think it was a great experience here.
Also, all trained actors are not very good actors. हमारी क्लास में 25 स्टूडेंट थे, सबके सब बहुत कमाल के एक्टर्स नहीं थे. ट्रेनिंग आपको सबको, जैसे क्लास में सेम टीचर पढ़ाने आता है, उसमें एक फर्स्ट आता है, एक 58th आता है.
Correct.
है ना. मेडिकल कॉलेज में भी एक अच्छा डॉक्टर बनता है. वैसा ट्रेनिंग से मेरा मतलब है, यस, ट्रेनिंग पुट्स यू ऑन ए पाथ, because I run an acting school, so we only put them on a path which sort of helps them finding out various avenues of acting. But acting करने से आती है.
बिल्कुल.
रोज़ आप एक्टिंग करते रहो, चाहे वो कैमरा के सामने हो, चाहे वो घर पर हो, वो इट्स लाइक मोटर ड्राइविंग. द मोर यू ड्राइव, द मोर यू आर रिलैक्स वाइल ड्राइविंग. और म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट होनी चाहिए सामने वाले एक्टर के लिए. इट हैज़ नथिंग टू डू विद लर्निंग लाइन्स. एट द एंड ऑफ इट, लोगों को वो टेक दिखाई देता है जो परफेक्ट टेक होता है. वो 130वां टेक भी हो सकता है और 13वां टेक भी होता है. ये एक्टर्स का एक ये होता है कि मैं फर्स्ट 1 टेक आर्टिस्ट हूँ. ये मेरा ये बहुत ही बेवकूफ़ाना क्या नाम स्टाइल है कि ये मैं 1 टेक आर्टिस्ट हूँ. मैं वो 1 टेक आर्टिस्ट में कितने, आप 50 लोगों को खुश कर रहे हो. ये 50 लोगों का आपका कोई लेना देना नहीं. ऑफ कोर्स दैट दे आर हेल्पिंग यू, इज कैमरामैन, साउंड डिपार्टमेंट वाला, बट ऑडियंस. और उन्होंने आपस में कहा कि क्या बात है यार, मोहित रैना ने पहले टेक में अनुपम खेर के सामने ज़बरदस्त एक्टिंग कर दी. नोबडी इज इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट. यू आर बाउंड टू मेक मिस्टेक्स. यू शुड बी हैप्पी एंड सॉर्ट ऑफ से, हाँ, ये मेरा 25वां रीटेक जो था ये परफेक्ट था. ऐसा मुझे लगता है.
बट कभी डिफ़िकल्ट लगता है आपको अनुपम सर, बिकॉज इतने टाइम से आप काम कर रहे हैं, बट वेन एवर आई वॉच यू ऑन स्क्रीन और इन एनी ऑफ योर प्रोजेक्ट्स, देर इज़ दिस सर्टन passion that I see in your style. It's the same. बहुत सारे बार मैंने सुना है एक्टर्स बोलते हैं हम बर्nt आउट फील करते हैं या हम ब्रेक लेने का हमें मन होता है. आई थिंक यू, अमिताभ बच्चन जी, नीना गुप्ता, लॉट ऑफ एक्टर्स फ्रॉम दैट जनरेशन आर वर्किंग relentlessly even today. What keeps you going?
I love life. And whatever you do in the process of loving life, you love doing that. I love with the same amount of passion to eat. I have the same amount of passion of having a conversation. I have the same amount of passion in meeting people, and I think I have a very one of those very chosen few people who God has given an opportunity to entertain people, who is an actor, who has done so many films, I have no time to complain. I have no reason to complain. I have never complained. I have not used two words consciously for the last 32 years. I have never said I'm bored, and I have never said that I am not in a mood. आप मेरे से कभी भी नहीं सुनोगे ये दो शब्दों का इस्तेमाल. हम अपने आप को बहुत अननेसेसरी महत्व देते हैं एक्टर्स जो है ना. वी गेट इनटू दिस फॉल्स सेंस ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस कि अरे यार दिल नहीं कर रहा यार, थक गया. मैं कभी भी नहीं बोलता मैं थक गया हूँ. मतलब थकता हूँ मैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं बहुत थकता हूँ, बट ऐसा प्रोफेशन और सक्सेस कहाँ मिलती है आपको. लोग तड़पते हैं बेचारे. हमारे से जो लाइट बॉयज़ होते हैं, जो स्पॉट बॉयज़ होते हैं, जो साउंड के लोग होते हैं, जो लाइट्स लेके जाते हैं, वो कितनी मेहनत करते हैं. हमको सिर्फ शॉट से पहले होते हैं सर शॉट रेडी. उसमें भी अरे यार तू बातें कर रहा था इंटरेस्टिंग, तूने बुलाने क्यों आ गया. आई थिंक नो, आई एम थैंकफुल टू गॉड for allowing me and for giving me an opportunity to be part of a profession where I was dying to be part of that profession.
I also feel this comes from experience because what you just mentioned, board या फिर ऐसे जो act करते हैं, I have only, even in interviews, I have only seen younger actors say this, or actors who haven't had that much experience in their field. But
जो देखिए जो तुक्के से एक्टर बनते हैं ना, उनको ये सब बोलना. जो मेहनत से बनते हैं, अब ये जम्मू के किसी गांव से आया है और ये कितनी इसने मेहनत की होगी और कहाँ पहुँचे हैं, तो इनको इसका एहसास है कि मैं कैसे बनाऊँ एक्टर. मुझको इस बात का एहसास है कि मैं कैसे बना एक्टर हूँ. मैंने जब वो 27 दिन रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म पे गुजारे हैं, तो मेरे को कभी बोलने का, मेरे में हिम्मत ही नहीं होगी बोलने की कि मैं बोर्ड हो गया हूँ या मैं थक गया हूँ या मैं ये सब कर गया हूँ. तो जिनको आसानी से मिल गया है. And also you're talking to somebody who has been there for the last 40 years. I have seen so many people coming and going. I have seen so many people saying that I am the best and I am the greatest. But अपना काम करता रहना चाहिए और शुक्रगुजार होना चाहिए. I'm not being philosophical about it. I'm as competitive about it as I'm ambitious. I want to be the best in any project that I'm doing. I'm alive. I'm alive as a person. I live every day. I don't exist on every day.
Fantastic. But Mohit, even talking about your journey, I feel it's very inspiring because you come from, a field where people used to constantly say, and I've heard this even today, the tag of being a TV actor or associated with the small screen. From there, making it to the web projects, making it to the big screens as well, and successfully transitioning. Not a lot of people managed to do that. In this process, was there ever a sense of self-doubt?
I don't think there was a moment of self-doubt, but yes, I remember that it would not be an easy journey. I remember when I decided to take a break from TV, one of the last interviews, somebody asked me that, so if you're taking a break from TV, what do you think? You're going to completely go out and rule it. I said, no, I still remember that line. I said, the real test begins now. So I knew what I was getting into. I knew there will be rejections, or there will be competition, there will be this, there will be question marks. But I genuinely feel I've been very, very, very lucky. The audience has accepted me in every platform, in every way. Makers have shown immense faith in me. I have been fortunate enough to work with the biggest makers over here. So I think I would give the credit to them that they gave me an opportunity, because otherwise I wouldn't have been here. They could see that this person has the right intent, or he has a certain amount of talent to pull it out. And so I can only just go out there and work hard and make sure that I do justice to the part.
Lovely. Anupam ji, is there any update on Kaagaz 2? Because of course it's Satish ji's last project, and even today Guns and Gulabs released, where he plays a very important part.
Yes. So I think the film is ready, and there has been some transactions that has happened. The final call has been taken, and I hope that we see the film soon. It is Satish's most passionate project. He invested a lot of time and energy into the project, and he was very, very passionate about the theme and the story of the film. And I hope that it does very well. Uh, he will be happy wherever he is, and it's a very beautiful film. And we spent a lot of time together making that film.
You know, Mohit, talking about the freelancer and, you know, this entire genre, working with Neeraj Pandey, Anupam sir has, of course, been a part of several projects with him. How was it with you? Because they say when it's Neeraj Pandey, as you said, you know, you were relaxed because the maker you have full faith in. But how much creative liberty does that leave for you as an actor?
Oh, a lot, a lot. Neeraj sir gives you a lot of space. He doesn't interfere or he doesn't, in your process. He definitely guides you and he tells you what he doesn't want and what he wants. These are the factors. There, he will give you a very clear guidance that I need you to come from point A to point B and say these lines in a certain way. So I think you just follow his guidance. You know, you creatively do give your best because you know that you're in safe hands. You know, and when you know the boundary of the creative existence, you don't try and overstep it, or you don't try to go above that.
Right.
Because if you do, then he will make sure that you keep doing
Yeah.
the retakes and retakes, because he doesn't compromise in his work. He is very clear that his audience is paramount. He is very, very clear that he is making it for the audience. He is making it for the love of the people. So he's brutally honest to them, I would say.
When your name comes with Neeraj Pandey ji, there's this one thing attached कि ये तो अच्छा ही होगा, you know, there's this notion कि अगर ये दोनों साथ में आ रहे हैं तो अच्छा ही काम होगा. इस चीज़ का कभी added pressure आपको feel होता है?
नहीं, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि अच्छा ही होगा.
Lovely. You know, when we talk about the 90s cinema or the retro Bollywood, you have been a very big part of it. अगर मैं आपसे पूछूँ आपकी कौन सी ऐसी फिल्म है which you would like to see today being remade, जो maybe तब इतने अच्छे से काम नहीं की because the audiences were not ready, what would your answer be to that?
नहीं, आई थिंक जो भी फिल्में मैंने की, चाहे वो दिल है कि मानता नहीं है, या दिल वाले, या कुछ कुछ होता है, या ऑल द डेविड धवन फिल्म्स और सुभाष घई जीज फिल्म्स, राम लखन, आई थिंक ये सब आज बन सकती हैं. और गदर 2 की सक्सेस ने इस बात का एहसास करा दिया है कि नॉस्टैल्जिया प्लेज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. अपार्ट द फिल्म हैज़ टू बी गुड ऑफ कोर्स, बट जैसे आज अगर राम लखन बनती है तो इट विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. आई कैन स्टिल बी पार्ट ऑफ इट बिकॉज वो ट्रैक अभी भी चल सकता है. अनिल और जैकी को शायद उनके बेटे बनेंगे, बट मेरा कैरेक्टर देवधर काका का मैं ही कर सकूँगा. एंड शोला और शबनम, हसीना मान जाएगी, दिल है कि मानता नहीं, ऑल ऑफ देम can be remade again.
Lovely. Mohit, I remember when I watched Uri, and I told this to Vicky as well, that, you know, when I was watching it, even though your screen space was not as much as him, but I told him this, that, you know, his performance was so good that I was confused कि मैं किसको देखूँ. And at the end of it, I didn't say that, you know, I loved Vicky. I always named you everywhere. I also felt that it changed a lot of things for you. Do you feel a lot of filmmakers and people from the industry started taking you more seriously after that performance, because it was a really brilliant one?
No, I don't think so. I'll explain it to you why. Because I think career-wise or career-wise, it wasn't a very wise decision to play that part. If somebody had to decide their career, it was more for me to give my. I mean, I because my weakness is uniform. I always wanted to be in defense forces, so I never wanted to miss that opportunity to be in those shoes and be in that uniform for that much space. From an acting perspective or from a career point of view, it wasn't a great career path-breaking thing. I did it personally obviously for the director. He's a friend. He wanted me to be a part of that, so I did it for him, and I did it for the love of the uniform. Having said that, obviously, because what it became and what it did later on was obviously it got a lot of eyeballs and everything. People loved the film because obviously it was a very well-made film. But it didn't change much for me, to be really honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I thought you would say the other way around, but
No,
I'm sure,
but
yeah,
I mean,
performance-wise,
that's because, as you said, because it was a very limited space
Correct.
thing, you know, because they wanted someone whose revenge Vicky's character would take. So I always knew the screen space would be limited. You know, in fact, even when the trailer was launched and when the film was shown to a lot of journalists did ask me that, Mohit, why did you choose this as your debut film? You know, you could have waited to do something else. Because I knew the feedback that I would get, but it was more to do. It was more than a career perspective, more from a calling from my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anupam sir, you know, every once in a while there comes a film which changes a lot of things, how you see cinema, how you experience it. I remember last year it was the Kashmir Files, and there were so many things to be told about that film. But what I felt was the emotions I went through when I was watching that film, they felt very real. They felt like I know these people and they're going through something so traumatic. As an actor who played such a brilliant part in that, did it change you as a person also?
I was already changed. For 32 years. I've been wanting to tell this story, being a Kashmiri Pandit myself. I'm glad that it reached out to so many people. I'm glad that commercially it did so well, because that means people understood and empathized with the film, and it made me believe in the fact that Der Aaye Durust Aaye, that philosophy of that. And I'm happy that it reached out to so many people, and the fact that we are constantly asking about it, and there is the existence of Kashmiri Hindus who were thrown out of the valley 30 years back are now being talked about.
If we talk about box office and theaters in general, a lot of people earlier felt कि अरे web is a compromised release क्योंकि जब COVID hit us, we didn't have any other platform, and web actually saved a lot of people. Today, how do you see this as? Because then I see Gadar, which is like literally breaking records and earning so much money, and then I see quality content being released on OTT. Do you feel it will forever coexist?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that was the phase and that was the time when during COVID everybody was trying to understand what is happening. You know, there was a time when there was no project that was specially being made for OTT, because people had already made projects for films, and at that point of time there was a long gap, so they had no other option but to put the films out there on the digital platforms. But obviously once the time passed by and people realized the importance of digital reach, and when the theaters opened up and people realized that these are two different mediums, obviously they will always coexist. You know, there's no doubt about it. There's not going to be a question mark, because the consumer is very different.
Yeah.
You know, in OTT, in digital platforms, the person who's watching it on his TV or laptop or in mobile has control over it. You know, they can anytime forward it or pause it or rewind it. But in theatre, it's a different experience altogether. So I think it will till eternity can coexist. There's no doubt about it.
We've always हमारे जब मैं छोटा था तो सिर्फ ब्लैक एंड वाइट टीवी होता था, फिर हमारे मोहल्ले में किसी का कलर टीवी आया, फिर दूरदर्शन होता था, फिर उस पर साइंस प्रोग्राम भी हमारा शेफ़ देखता, कुक देखता था कि क्यों देख रहे हो। मैं उसको एक दिन पूछा क्यों देख रहे हो, कहता जी डिफरेंट शक्लें देखने को मिल रही हैं, मतलब हमारी शक्ल के अलावा। फिर उसके बाद सैटेलाइट चैनल आया, इतने सारे, फिर सिर्फ मुझे याद है जब जी आया था तो सिर्फ जी पर न्यूज़ आती थी। फिर उसके बाद VHS, VCD, DVD एट्सेट्रा एट्सेट्रा, ये चलता चला आया। फिल्म में जाने का जो है, फिल्म में जाने की एक परंपरा है,
बिल्कुल,
फिल्में देखने की, और को एग्जिस्टेंस रह सकते हैं हमारे यहाँ। पहले हमारे यहाँ एक सड़क पर एक लाइन में या 1-2 किलोमीटर पे एक चाइनीज़ ढाबा होता था, आजकल 50 होते हैं, पर फिर भी जो अच्छा होता है वो चलता है। तो ये तो लाइफ का दस्तूर है, प्रिंसिपल है, को एग्जिस्टेंस हो ही जाती है एंड पीपल अडेप्ट टू इट। मेरी दादी अंगीठी पे खाना बनाती थी, है ना, फिर वो प्रेशर कुकर पे मेरी माँ खाना बनाने लगी। आजकल हम माइक्रोवेव में ऐसे डाल के वैसे ही गर्म करके मुंह भी जला लेते हैं। तो इसलिए वी गेट यूज्ड टू इट। दैट्स द ह्यूमन एवोल्यूशन जो है वो इसका सबूत है।
बिल्कुल। On that note, thank you so much for this conversation. All the very best for the Freelancer.
Thank you so much.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं अनुपम खेर और आप लोग मुझे देख रहे हैं बॉलीवुड बबल पे।
हाय, मैं हूं मोहित रैना और आप मुझे देख रहे हैं बॉलीवुड बबल पे।
चलो दोस्त।